When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned? He said, will you defeat them, your demons, and all the non-believers, the plans that they have made? Because one day I'll leave you a phantom to lead you in the summer to join the Black Parade.
Welcome back to the Cork Football Podcast. Well, it's mission accomplished. I said at the start of the league, I was saying that 10 points would be needed, but we actually needed 12, and it was a serious achievement to get it, considering how competitive the division was. So, in fairness, it's a huge congratulations to everyone involved. That wasn't an easy competition, and they say Division 2 is the hardest division of all, and we know that well now at this stage. So fair play to everyone. This was just looking back to the start of the league there with 10 minutes to go in the Cavan game. It was really looking like another year like that. It was going to be, at best middle of the Division 2, and just after staving off relegation, and all we could hope for then was maybe a good showing against Kerry, and eventually kind of bowing out kind of tamely then maybe to some also ran up in Portlaoise at some stage in June. But I think we can hope for a bit more this year. I know one swallow doesn't make a summer, but and we're a long ways from the finished article, but competing now in Division 1 next year should give us a big platform to aspire to greater things. And another thing, I know it's a small thing, but it has kind of hung over us there with the last couple of years, is that we have guaranteed Sam Maguire football now for 2027 and 2028. That's just that bit of extra pressure lifted off the whole setup. Division 1 is going to be a big step up next year, and it'd be great if we could stay there. Because, I really, looking at the Division 1 games there, it is noticeable. There is the speed is just that up that bit, and as far as I know, we're going to have 4 home games next year, and hopefully we'll have Kerry and Parky Ring, and that's one good thing that's after coming out of this year as well, is that Parky Ring seems to suit us, and we can just set that up as a home for Cork football. To the game itself, I assume anyone listening to this has already seen it, so I'm not going to give a kind of a blow-by-blow account. But look, it's just in the overall, it's a hard game thing to analyse. Look, because overall we've had the success of getting promoted, so I'm not going to be going into desperate detail on what went down up in Oma. But I suppose just one thing that we did that we hadn't been doing all along was we did make some of these uncharacteristic errors. And when I say uncharacteristic, it's because we haven't been doing it through the league. And that's one thing about under John Cleary, we have progressively kind of eliminated these kind of self-sabotaging kamikaze stuff that has dogged us throughout the years. And in fairness, you could see that under John Cleary there with the last couple of years. it's very seldom now they do it. We did it a bit yesterday, and I always think that we're more likely to make these poor decisions when we're actually in good positions. Um, and you could even see there from the off yesterday, Brian O'Driscoll, the first shot he took, like it was a tap over, and he went for this kind of a spectacular outside of the boot job, and like I don't know why you do something different like that, but that's just we just tend to do that for some reason. We think we need to do something different just to when on the big occasion, and when we should actually be just doing the simple things and stay doing it. But and we did turn over some desperate ball to Tyrone through that, and it was just poorly executed hand passing and just passing to players that weren't expecting the ball or in bad positions. There was one particular point there in the second half. We coughed up two balls coming down the right wing, and it was actually we were in such good positions that we did it. We had such an overlap. We kind of panicked, but look, that's the negatives out of the way anyway. I'm not going to get into to too deep into that. The kickouts we did okay. I was happy enough to see we used the overload again when we were getting cleaned out going down the middle, and we were struggling with the long kick out down the middle. Colm O'Callaghan kind of drifted out of the game, and we really struggled after that. But like the one off to the sideline, the good thing about that is that look, you're probably not going to, if you do win it, you're probably not in a great position. But when you're under pressure, you have control over it. You can, the sideline kind of acts as a defender, and you have that element of control just to settle things down. Just on the breaking ball, I suppose when you can see the full game back on television, it's you get a much clearer picture of what's going on with the breaking ball. We are getting the bodies in around the breaking ball, but just you could see that we do seem to be a bit static and flat-footed. So that's just something we have to work on. So that's from the work-ons, but to the positives, our tackling was excellent. And that's just obviously got down to the work that's been done, and we're getting good clean hands in and good body contact, and it's just very noticeable. We're not giving away frees in close in frees, not that many anyway compared to before. And another thing that I was happy about was we were noticeably pressing Tyrone further out from goal than we had been in other games through the league, and you could see towards the end there when we started retreating back inside our own 2 point arc that we looked much more vulnerable, and it's great that we've made that change. Like a lot of Tyrone's wides in the first half, they came from that we were keeping them just outside the scoring zone for long periods, and once they got any sniffed in, they were taking kind of pot shots. And it just a lesson to be learned from the Kildare game to us, like, is that everything went over for us against Kildare, and you could see Tyrone yesterday. Like, I think they had they got 7 out of 18 shots in the first half. Like, if they had got 4 of them, we'd have been in trouble yesterday. And it just goes to show how you can't be depending on the 2 pointer. Another positive was our fitness is top drawer. We were kind of hanging on to the lead at the end, all right, but we did look the much stronger team for the last 15 minutes. And, that's we really have upped our game there. And our forwards as a unit, we're working very hard for each other and just in general. And we have a good spread of shooters. One or two of our forwards now can have an off day, and we're the rest of them can pick up the slack. So it was Sherlock, in fairness to him, like he was he had a quite enough first half, but he came into it well in the second half from an attacking point of view. But like, he put in a massive defensive shift, and he blocked down the ball there on his own 14-yard line, and that just goes to show, like, he's just a player that's up for it now, and he just wants to contribute in any way possible. And so it was great to see him doing that. And Chris Oak, in fairness, he's playing very well, coming out deep out the field now and running at defences. And, he's better off doing that because when he's waiting for ball inside, it's kind of do or die for him then, and he can't, that just doesn't suit him. He's better off kind of coming out and getting on the ball and just settling down that way. And it's great to see Brian Hurley back as well. I thought he made a fierce difference when he came in. He's we really did miss him there in the last couple of weeks, and so he's going to be a big plus to have him now for the rest of the year, hopefully. So overall, you have to say like the show seems to be gelling together pretty well, and apart from the Derry game, which I said before I wasn't too concerned about, but like we put that behind us and we did the business against Kildare and Tyrone, and you couldn't ask for any more. So I suppose the only thing I probably would like to have seen was that if we had got another couple of players a bit more exposure during the league, but I know it's easier said than done, but we probably didn't use as many, as many players as we should have, and hopefully that doesn't catch up with us. But look, I think this game against Meath now might be an opportunity to do that, because look, realistically, it's a meaningless game, and I think there's a few players there that could do with a rest. I think Sherlock, Colm O'Callaghan, maybe Luke Fahey. They're definitely three anyway that could don't like they're going to be playing. They're going to be starting for us. Like, so we could afford to give them a rest and have a look at the likes of maybe look Sean Welch, to be no harm to give him a bit more game time. David Buckley, definitely, Dara Cashman, and there's another few there as well that could definitely do with a bit more game time. And look, I'd be happy enough if we just get anyway a half decent performance against Meath. The result doesn't matter. We have our result. We're getting promoted, and so look, we'll go to Croke Park anyway on Sunday. It'll be a bit of a day out, and we might have a look at our opponents for Killarney there in a few weeks' time. We'll see them as well. So I'll leave it at that, and congratulations to Cork and to John Cleary and all the backroom team, and good luck and God bless.